Module 3, Part 2, Trust, a psychological state in which one has a willingness to be vulnerable and to take risks with respect to the actions of another party. Trust toward management is based on our perception of their ability, benevolence, and integrity. Perceptions of trust in management is related to job satisfaction, organizational commitment, job performance, organizational citizenship, lower turnover, and absenteeism. Perceived organizational support, POS, employees generally believe that their organization values their contribution and cares about their well-being. Here we see predictors of consequences of perceived organizational support, POS. Supervisor support, fairness, organizational rewards, job conditions. Through perceived organizational support will lead to job satisfaction, organizational commitment, positive mood, performance, reduced strains, reduced turnover, and absenteeism. Organizational support theory states that employees who have a strong perception of organizational support and obligation to care about the organization's welfare and to help the organization achieve its objectives. Person perceptions in human resources are affected by the employment interview. Primacy effect and stereotype of ideal applicant. Contrast effects. Previously interviewed job applicants affect an interviewer's perception of a current applicant, leading to an exaggeration of differences between applicants. More structured interviews, example standardization and consistency, improves validity. Person perceptions in human resources are affected by an applicant's perception of recruitment and selection. Perception of fairness, work samples and interviews are viewed more favorably than testing. Signaling theory, cues about the job and company. Persons' perceptions in human resources are affected by the performance appraisal. Objective appraisals use performance measures, easier for lower-level employees. Subjective appraisals are susceptible to perceptual biases, primacy, recency, stereotypes, and other biases. Subjective appraisals are also susceptible to rater errors. Some errors or some inclinations, some biases are leniency, tendency to give good ratings, harshness, tendency to give poor ratings, central tendency to give middle range ratings, no extremes. Rater errors. Another type is the halo effect, using one trait or characteristic that the rater thinks it is important to influence all ratings. Similar to me effect, good ratings for people with background or attitude similar to rater. Here we see a graph where we can contrast the errors, leniency, harshness, and central tendency rater errors, and how they relate with the number of employees. When the number of employees increases, harshness tends to have low performance or give as a result low performance. Let's say true performance is the blue line. In central tendency is rating the performance of the group, of the number of the employees, as high, and leniency is to rate, to give a good performance or high performance, and the number of employees is not that high, or the number of employees increases and leniency or the rating of the performance is high. Techniques for reducing perceptual errors and biases. Behaviorally anchored rating scales, BARS, behavioral anchored rating scales, give specific behavioral examples of good, average, and poor performance. Frame of reference, FOR training, improves rating accuracy by providing raters with a common frame of reference to use when rating individuals.